Japan is often treated like a health miracle, but the real picture is more honest and more useful than that. Yes, Japan has long life expectancy, lots of everyday walking, and lower obesity rates than many rich countries. But Japan also struggles with short sleep, long work hours, stress, and a strong social drinking culture. So the smart question is not whether Japan has one magic metabolism secret. The smart question is, which night habits help the body, which ones hurt it, and why? That is what this video is really about. Not exotic tricks. Just everyday evening behaviors that quietly push your metabolism toward repair or toward damage. The first helpful habit is earlier and lighter evening eating. In many Japanese homes, dinner is often built around rice, vegetables, fish, tofu, soup, and smaller side dishes rather than one giant late-night plate. That pattern is not universal, and convenience food exists in Japan just like everywhere else. But the traditional template still matters because it naturally supports portion control. Metabolically, timing is a big deal. Insulin sensitivity and digestive efficiency usually get worse later in the biological day. So a heavy meal close to bedtime can raise the chance of poorer glucose control, reflux, rough sleep, and that heavy next morning feeling many people know too well. A lighter dinner, eaten with enough time before sleep, helps the body switch from feeding mode toward repair mode. That is one of the simplest nighttime wins available. Now for the flip side. One habit that can quietly wreck metabolism in Japan is late-night compensatory eating after work. Long commutes, overtime, and after-hours socializing can push dinner much later, especially for salarymen and younger urban workers. When that happens, even a healthy meal can arrive at a bad hour. Good ingredients do not fully cancel circadian misalignment. If the body is trying to prepare for sleep while you are giving it a large dinner, that mismatch can harm both sleep quality and overnight regulation. So the lesson is not just what you eat. It is when you eat it. The second helpful habit is gentle movement after dinner instead of total stillness. Japan's cities naturally build low-intensity walking into daily life. Train transfers, short errands, neighborhood shops, and routine movement often continue into the evening. That matters more than it sounds. Even light post-meal walking can help blunt glucose spikes, support digestion, and tell the body to use fuel rather than store every extra bit immediately. This is not a call for hard exercise right before bed. The sweet spot is small movement. A 10 to 20-minute walk, light tidying, or any calm activity that keeps you from eating and collapsing straight onto the sofa. One large dinner followed by complete stillness is a very common modern habit, and it is one of the easiest habits to improve. The third helpful habit is the evening bath, especially the warm soak known as ofuro. In Japan, the bath often means more than cleaning the body. It marks a transition from public strain to private rest. That cultural role matters. Research on passive body heating suggests that a warm bath taken early enough before sleep can support sleep onset by changing body temperature in a helpful way. You warm up in the bath. Then the body cools afterward. That cooling can reinforce sleepiness. And better sleep helps metabolism indirectly through appetite hormones, glucose handling, recovery, and next-day energy balance. The bath is not burning fat by magic. Its power is quieter. It helps the nervous system downshift. But even this good habit can go wrong. An extremely hot bath right before bed, dehydration, alcohol before bathing, or certain heart risks can turn a calming ritual into stress. The helpful version is warm, steady, and timed so your body has space to settle after it. The fourth habit is reducing emotional and sensory stimulation before bed. Traditional Japanese evenings in many homes put value on quietness, order, dimmer light, and a clearer line between work stress and rest. Modern life has weakened that pattern, of course. Phones, bright screens, work emails, and endless scrolling have reached Japan too. Still, the principle is strong and worth borrowing. Night should feel like downshifting. This matters because poor sleep affects ghrelin, leptin, cortisol, insulin sensitivity, and food choice. In plain language, broken sleep makes many people hungrier, more impulsive, and worse at regulating appetite the next day. So a chaotic evening full of bright light, conflict, work messages, and intense media can damage metabolism through sleep even if your daytime diet looks respectable. The fifth habit is modest night consumption, especially around sweets and alcohol. Traditional Japanese desserts often use smaller portions, beans, fruit, tea, or less aggressive sweetness, than the oversized dessert culture common elsewhere. That does not mean Japan lacks packaged sugar bombs. It does. But modest portion culture still matters. The bigger nighttime risk may be alcohol. Frequent evening drinking can hurt sleep quality, appetite control, liver health, recovery, and next morning energy. It also often leads to salty or fatty late-night eating. So the quietest metabolic damage may not come from one obvious junk food binge. It may come from turning alcohol plus late snacking into a nightly reward ritual. Two bigger cultural ideas sit underneath the helpful habits. One is portion awareness. The other is ritualized transition. Metabolism is not only about calories. It is also about signals. Your body keeps asking, is it time to digest, to store, to stay alert, or to sleep? Useful Japanese-style evening habits support those signals. Dinner ends rather than drags on. Movement continues gently. Bathing marks a shift. Stimulation drops. Sleep gets protected. That is why these habits work. They align behavior with biology instead of fighting it. Some popular claims deserve skepticism. A hot bath does not melt fat by itself. Green tea at night is not helpful if the caffeine keeps you awake. Fermented foods can be healthy, but they do not erase overeating or chronic sleep loss. And no national habit can save a life built on overwork, poor sleep, stress, and constant schedule disruption. Japan itself proves that point. A generally strong food culture can still be undermined by long working hours and short nights. If you want the practical version, it is refreshingly simple. Eat dinner earlier when possible, and do not make it huge. Move lightly after eating. Use a warm bath or shower as a wind-down tool. Dim the mental and sensory noise before bed. And do not let alcohol and late-night snacks become your default form of comfort. That is the honest lesson here. Japanese evening wisdom is useful when it supports human biology. It becomes misleading only when people turn it into mythology. The value is not that it is foreign. The value is that ordinary routines, repeated quietly, can either help your hormones work with the night or force them to fight against it. If you want the next story where a simple habit can change wealth instead of metabolism, watch the next video now.